Time you are.
Call the July meeting to order. Will you please join me in the pledge to the flag?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
One newcomer could not make it tonight, so he's out of town, so I will be sitting in his place. And Rob, will you please call the roll?
Emily Ebaugh.
Here.
Cinder Keeler.
Here.
Tom Lingby.
Here.
Brian Miller.
Here.
Glenn Newcomer is absent.
Okay, you have in your packet the minutes from the prior meeting in June. Double check, sorry, it takes me a minute to, and your special meeting from June 29th, which is our work day at the mayor's office. We talked a lot about updates on the building process, financial recommendations, close out the year. Any questions or corrections to those minutes? If not, I will entertain a motion to approve those minutes as submitted.
So moved.
Tom, second please.
Second.
Cindra, all in favor, or please call the roll. I forgot, we have to call the roll here.
Cinder.
Yes.
Tom.
Yes.
Brian.
Yes.
Emily.
Yes. I see no one available for public participation, so Cindra, communications from Fort County.
Just pretty quiet. It's in the midst, they're in the midst of doing all the, summer rehab that usually goes on, so I don't have any update other than that. Thank you.
On Rob, treasurer's report, I see there's information on the supplemental as well.
That's correct. We'll start with the financial reports for the month ended June 30th. On our cash reconciliation report, our deposits at Farmers and Merchants State Bank totaled $10,332,202. Our outstanding checks and deposits in transit totaled $14,655. At Star Ohio, our deposits totaled $3,230,962. Morgan Stanley, $38,026,293, and at the State Bank, $4,003,684. Change funds and petty cash funds totaled $4,500. Total deposits on hand, $55,582,986. On the next page, our financial summary report provides you fund balances at the end of the fiscal year. Our general fund balance totaled $11,002,315 plus $9,588 in the Arts and Ed Building Education Fund for the general fund as well. Bond retirement fund totaled $426,686. Our permanent improvement fund totaled $2,147,770. Our LFI building fund, our local share, $3,316,033. Our project construction fund, local share, $33,348,826. And the state share, $4,545,370. Once again, total deposits on hand at the end of June, $55,582,986. Our actual fund balances, or our actual revenue and expenses for the fiscal year ended June 30th. I wanted to give you a snapshot of those final numbers for the year. Revenues totaled $19,823,503. This report's not in your packet there. Expenditures totaled $19,143,195. We ended up with a surplus for the year of $680,308. And as previously reported, our June 30 cash balance in the general fund was $11,011,904. One other side note for the fiscal year, our permanent improvement fund, we started the year with $2,007,759. We ended the year with $2,147,770. So we had a surplus in that fund for the year as well.
Thanks, Rob. I know you work really hard with the building administrators and pinching the pennies and making sure we can come through the balanced budget, so I appreciate that.
We had some additional revenues from the state this year that helped us a great deal, and like you say, a lot of help from the administrators and all the employees of the district trying to save money wherever we can. We take our hats off to all of the employees here in the district for working hard with us. Also on the addendum, we have asked for your approval for the dairy bids for the 2015-16 school year. Normally, we do this a little earlier in the year, but we had our bids in and reviewed. Then we found that part of our purchasing consortium that we belong to, some of these companies were going to participate there. So we're waiting on the bread bids to see if we get a lower pricing through the consortium. So we're going to hold off on the bread bids for now, but I am going to ask you to approve the milk portion of this, which is with ARPS Dairy, and our estimated cost based upon their bids will be about $105,915. We'd like to recommend using them for the upcoming school year.
Any questions? Do you want us to have a separate motion for the bread bid, for the dairy bid and for the other treasurer's report?
And we can do it all in one,
Okay.
please.
Then, that being said, I would entertain a motion to approve all of Rob's recommendations.
So moved.
Bryan, second please.
I'll second it.
Tom, please call the roll.
Tom?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Emily?
Yes.
Cinder?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see where we're at. Hold on. Nothing under then and now. Superintendent's recommendations. Diana?
Yes, good evening. First of all, we have a contract for school nurse services with the Williams County Board of Health for the 2015-2016 school year. And in your packet, we outline the services that are provided by the school nurse through the health department. Some of the highlights, not only does she maintain our health records, but deals with any emergency care, also helps with kindergarten registration and health screenings throughout the year, especially for vision and hearing. This is a one-year agreement, and this does save us significant dollars in lieu of hiring our own employee.
You've been happy with the services provided through the health department?
We've had great service provided through the health department, yes, thank you. Next, we have approval of bowling as a high school varsity boys and girls sport beginning with the 2015 school year. As you remember, last month we had a presentation and discussed this as an option. And then MOU with Defiance College for educational intern and practicum students. Those are for our student teachers and those entering the educational field to get some internship hours. And that contract has also been reviewed by our school attorneys.
Any questions on the administrative recommendations? Do we have a motion?
So-
Also move.
Cinder, please, second.
I'll second it.
Tom, second. Please call the roll.
Brian?
Yes.
Emily?
Yes.
Cindra?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Under personnel recommendations, we're gonna bounce back and forth between the regular and the addendum, and so I will go slowly. We'll start with, we do have some resignations at this point in the school year. Chad Bishop is resigning as middle school 7th and 8th science teacher. He also coached assistant girls soccer, assistant girls basketball, assistant boys tennis, and middle school quiz bowl advisor. That is effective June 30th. Chad has been offered a position in the Dayton area. Jason Selhorst is resigning as high school social studies teacher, head golf, and middle school boys basketball coach effective July 8th. Jason has accepted a position closer to his family. Doug Billman is resigning as 7th grade football coach. That is a clerical issue that will rehire him in a little bit as middle school, or we will hire him as middle school football coach in just a little bit. Also on the addendum, we have Tammy Reddig as grade 7 science teacher. This is effective July 9th. Tammy has accepted a position teaching at our St. Patrick's School. And then Josh Montgomery, again, just a clerical issue to resign as 8th grade middle school football coach. Approval of administrative compensation and benefits schedule. This was included in your packet. This is an annual, and what we did is we cleaned up some of the titles for the administrators because we changed from the words principal to administrator, so we cleaned up the titles on that compensation package. There are no changes to the actual compensation. The only changes are to the wording. Administrative addendum contracts for Scott Hoard, Karen Cox, and Amy Dominic. They will be taking on additional duties and responsibilities for the 2015 school year, 16 school year. This is a one-year contract only, and it will expire at the end of the 2016 school year. Administrative retire-rehire contract for Ned Roofer as our maintenance director and supervisor. This is an annual action. Ned has been instrumental in not only maintaining our facilities, but also assisting with the research and development of our school building project. So we are going to be fortunate enough to have him on staff for another year. I'd like to recommend a change in pay rate effective July 1st for Tasha Mufeld, accounting clerk, to $16.70 per hour. A one-year retire-rehire contract for Kim Massey as high school Spanish teacher. A one-year limited teaching contract for Trina Fryman as preschool teacher. She comes at the master's level on the A1 salary schedule with 10 years experience. Erica Collins as grade 6 math teacher. She has her master's, will be on the A1 salary schedule, and has 6 years of experience at Ayersville. Jennifer Redhead, grade 7 and 8 science teacher, master's level on the A1 salary schedule, and she has 10 years experience teaching in Florida. Nicole Manahan as auxiliary services teacher at St. Patrick's School, bachelor's level on the A1 salary schedule with 10 years experience. She'll be the intervention specialist for St. Patrick's School. On the next, we have hiring classified staff. Teresa Wieland as 6 to 12 secretary, 8 hours per day, 214 days per year with 13 years experience, and that'll be effective August 3rd. We have some transfers because of resignations and other openings. Bryan Cummins is moving to grade 5 intervention. Spencer Graber to grade 7 math. Elena Perkins to grade 4 intervention, and Emily Nagy to grade 5 intervention. I would recommend that we hire Dee Collins as our website social media. She helps us stay up to date and keep all of our information current. She works up to 10 hours per week, is paid at the tutor rate, and that will be for the 2015-16 school year. I recommend as facilitator for resident educators Chad Bassett. And then for supplemental contracts, as I said, Doug Billman for middle school football coach. On the addendum, Josh Montgomery for middle school football coach. Kathy Frank on the addendum as middle school quiz bowl advisor. Cheryl Fry on the addendum as 8th grade class co-advisor. Katrina Giese on the addendum as varsity assistant girls soccer coach.
Could we take Katrina out? She's my niece.
Oh, yes we can. Okay, let's take her out, put her in a separate motion. Back to the regular agenda, Larry Snavely, assistant boys soccer coach. Leandra Seams, middle school volleyball coach. Heather Teagarden, assistant fall play director. Grant Redhead and Kim Pebble will share the weight room coordinator duties. The percentages are listed for each of those. Any questions on those personnel recommendations?
If there's no questions, I would like a motion to approve the superintendent's recommendation for everybody except Katrina.
So moved.
Bryan, second, please.
I'll second it.
Tom, please call the roll.
Emily?
Yes.
Cindra?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
And then I would then move to hire Katrina Giese as varsity assistant girls soccer coach.
Need a second?
So moved.
Tom, we also need a second, sorry. You recommend, he moves, we need a second.
I'll second.
Thank you. Please call the roll.
This is getting awful complicated.
Cindra?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
Emily?
Abstain.
Under reports and updates of information, I have 2 updates, both regarding the state budget. So first of all, they did release the state budget. It was approved. The governor did some line item vetoes, which were not helpful to our community or to our school system. I don't have final numbers. I know Rob is working hard on trying to reconcile those. But one thing we do know for sure is that the park testing, which was the company that administered the reading and math tests this past year, is out. AIR, which is AIR, is already in to administer the reading and math. So please don't get confused that testing is eliminated, because testing is still here. It's just that we're switching to a different vendor or different company once again. And then
Can I just ask how long the park system was here? 5?
1 year. 1 year.
5
1
or
year
6
of
minutes?
implementation, yes.
Right. We've been gearing up for it for a while,
Yes.
and it was a colossal failure apparently.
Yes. And then I'll let Rob speak a little bit more. The other line item veto that was detrimental to us was the elimination. They had included a supplemental payment for those districts who were getting tangible personal property tax, and that was line item vetoed. So, Rob, do you want to follow up with just some
Sure.
general information on that?
Just some real rough numbers of what the state is saying we're going to receive. They're saying this year we received $7,330,000 in state aid. That's our foundation money plus our tangible personal property tax money. Of that $7,330,000, about $1,455,000 is personal property replacement funds. Next year, fiscal year 16, they're saying we will receive $7,616,000 all total. The tangible personal property tax money is to remain funded
For 1 year.
fiscal year 16. In fiscal year 17, it will be eliminated.
So they're just taking $1.4 million out.
Yes. However, they're stating that our revenues from the state for fiscal year 17 will be $7,929,000. That's still about a $314,000 increase above fiscal year 16 funding. So they're, I don't know if they're just throwing the water in a different bucket here or what. We haven't really seen a real clear picture yet. But
They're not real
It's-
clear about why the increase will make us receiving more, even though they're saying they're moving
I
the
think
personal
they're-
property tax.
I think they're trying to supplement or make up for the loss of that tangible personal property money. But please keep in mind that our district has been capped. Had we been receiving all the money that we should have received from this formula, we've been receiving well in
Significantly
excess
more.
of this up to this point, on top of the TPP replacement money. So things are changing. We still are waiting for a clearer picture of what it is, but it appears that Bryan City Schools will not be losing any money in total above and beyond what we're losing now, but that tangible personal property money is being taken away and starting in fiscal year
And
17.
they haven't talked much or at length about a long-term solution to replacement for that?
That
No.
are, well, according
That's-
to the governor, the reason he line item vetoed it was because communities who were benefiting from that could go back to their local communities for replacement money,
Wow.
which is very difficult. It's very difficult to go back to our community for that.
It's quite a few, I can't recall what our millage would be to replace
Significant.
$1,455,000, but it's significant millage, yes.
What does our emergency levy bring in? How many?
1.9.
$1.9 million.
And that was how many?
And part of that is being funded by the TPP replacement money right now. So that is one thing that will change, since that money's not coming from the state. We'll see a tax rate increase on our emergency levy to bring that back up to the $1,910,000. Because at this point in time, part of that's being funded by the state through TPP. So we'll see a local tax increase to get that levy back up to the $1,910,000.
So the press releases are saying we're getting more money, but the actuality of it is, we might get a bump for 2 years and then
Well, it's-
chaos could be
It's like,
breaking
yeah,
loose.
it's like any other budget, 2 years you know what's happening, and then beyond that, the other 3 years of the 5-year forecast are questionable. But we're still waiting on more information to trickle down. But in fact, this information here appeared in the Bryan Times last week, and there was a press release that released some of that information. Another item that we had looked forward to possibly being passed in this budget that was in the House version but eliminated in the Senate version, then never appeared in the final bill, was increasing the threshold for purchasing for school districts. It currently sits at $25,000 before you have to go get something bid. And there was some, like I say, in the House version, that was raised to $50,000, which we felt would be very beneficial to school districts. As some of these projects, you don't have to go out and hire an architect and do, a lot of bidding and bid specs and so forth. You can do more of the things in-house, getting quotes. Some of these things get more costly just because you have to hire an architect to do them. And the other thing that's inconsistent about that is local government, such as county and city government. They had their thresholds raised to $50,000 a few years ago, so they're kind of treating school districts differently for some reason. And it'd be one thing I think we can continue to have our organizations work on. I think that would be beneficial for the school districts.
I think the trend is to moving the threshold up. Like you say, other political subdivisions of the state have already benefited from that.
Yes.
It would have been nice, I agree, it would have been nice if they would have bumped it up this time, but I would imagine it'll happen in the not too distant
It's
future.
just something we have to keep focused on and try to
It
get
will
that
be.
worked through.
Any other questions regarding the state budget or any other
Lots of
discussion items?
questions that will not be answered tonight.
That is true.
Do you have any information about construction update that you want to share?
We did not get our formal update. We have our core meeting next Thursday, but we did have a meeting this morning to discuss some of the alternates and the bid package for bid package 2. Some, but not all, of the bids in bid package 2 have been awarded. Rudolph Libby is working with some of the subcontractors to finalize those packages that are still in question. The weather has not been our friend, but in spite of the weather, it does seem that we are still on track with critical paths. So what that means is the critical dates that have to be hit for things to be finished have not yet been impacted. So credit to the companies that we're working with currently, who are working very hard despite the conditions that they're dealing with, to keep this project focused. And as you drive by, you can start to see some vertical, at least things laid out, getting ready to get started. But
Before this goes,
Tom, would you like to share any other updates?
No, I think you gave a pretty fair characterization. I mean, obviously, the weather has hurt. If the weather had been, let's say, more typical early summer weather, the foundations would probably be all in the ground, and we'd be sitting waiting on the masonry. Now, I think the masonry's scheduled to start the latter part of this
20
month.
something.
So, once again, I get the perimeter foundations completed. They only have maybe a couple more days of work on that, and then they got some interior spread footers and such to put in. So they really aren't, in spite of the weather, you're right, they are not significantly behind where they would like to be. The masons are gonna be able to start on the masonry, and the steel folks will be able to start setting steel when their scheduled time slots are. I think Rudolph Libby's doing a fairly nice job managing the thing, the project. You alluded to the fact that the bids, the marketplace is coming into play here a little bit. There is a lot of construction going on in Northwest Ohio, and the level of interest that we had anticipated early on has seemed to wane a little bit. They're not getting the coverage in terms of bidders on some of the elements of the project. I think we should feel fortunate because there's some of the other school districts I know that on many of the bid items have gotten one bid. And it's not been very appealing to them. These are some other projects that I'm aware of. We have not experienced that yet. I think they just have a few items, a couple items they're gonna rebid because there was some confusion. Like I said, I think Rudolph Libby is doing a nice job sorting through that, and if there is confusion, they're making sure it gets sorted out so that we truly do have the benefit of good competitive bids. So, yeah, I'm tickled to death with what I've seen so far.
Good. There's no other questions? Any old business, new business?
Not that I'm aware of.
All right. Pretty short meeting for July. We excused the administrators during the July board meeting, so, our next meeting will be August. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Also move.
I'll second it.
Please call the roll.
Cindra,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Emily,
Yes.